Welcome back to Dubbzi Bricks for another episode of Building Gotham City in Lego. In the last update I worked on the road section just here and also the car park for Arkham Asylum. And I was going to start doing more work on the actual Arkham itself in this update. However, I've come up with an idea of something I wish to do with Arkham, and I need a couple of pieces for it, which I'm struggling to find at the moment. So yeah, some interesting plans I've got for Arkham, which hopefully are going to make it look a lot better than it currently does. So what I'm going to do instead is turn my attention to this part just here. I want to continue the road and make it go down to the docks area. So one thing I do need to do is rearrange the buildings on here. I need to move that building down to there, just so I can have the road going down. So it'd be quite nice to get the road going along to the Funland at the end there. But also get that section all sorted. So without further ado, let's go around the other side of the table, clear off the mess, and let's start working out what we need to do. And there we have the raised platform all connected up to the docks. And on this part here, from around about there, that's a mill's plate, which is resting on the raised platform. This side here, and about 4 studs over, is actually built into the raised platform. So I've built a ledge that comes out of there, and then that is clipped onto it, or the technical structure is clipped onto the plates. That way it's a lot easier should I need to do any amendments to this or take it up. I can just peel it off of the plates, job done. And on this side again, it's just connected to the raised platform. I was really pleased that there wasn't any adjustments I needed to make. It just fitted absolutely perfectly. So that's all good. I've ripped up all of the plates that were on here, as I need to rearrange where the tiling goes on there. So again, that's quite a quick, simple job to do. But what we're going to do now is just work out what sort of design I'm going to have on the side of this. It doesn't need to be anything fancy, as it's just a crossroad that goes from the two areas. So we'll get that done, and then we'll build the snot road that goes over the top of it. Then also I need to do the road that comes in here, and it'd be quite nice to get the markings put on this section as well as the road there. So it'd be a lot more colour on the docks area, which is something I'm really looking forward to adding to that. And here we have the first attempt at the bridge from one raised platform over to the docks area. And I've used the style here that I had on my raised road, which was going through the centre of the city a few months back. I'm not happy with this, and I think the problem is the Technic brick that I'm using on the back just there is meaning that the road is a little bit steeper than it needs to be. If I remove the Technic bricks there and have it so that the road is just resting on the plate that's on the back wall there, it is going to lower it by a couple of degrees, and I think that will be much better. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to peel this back off, take it back over to the table, make the amendments, and then we'll see if it looks any better. And here we have version 2 of the bridge, and much happier with the angle that it's now at. I think it looks a lot tidier. Changed the style up very slightly on the side, but yeah, really pleased with the end result. I will be putting some lights on the 2 corners just there, and also here. Each set of lights is going to be connected separately. So the lights on this side will be connected to the power on that section, and the lights this side will be connected to the power I put in for the docks area. So I'm hoping to get a lot of lights put in on the docks in this update. But what I'm going to do now is just make the road that's going to go across here and down to the actual docks. And there we have a road on the bridge, and it's so nice seeing yet more colour brought to the road sections. Now, on the top part here, you can see there's a little gap, and what I've done here is I've just brought the road forward just so I can have the connection there, just to see what it looks like. So that bit will be pushed back, and then I'll make a smaller section just to fill in the gap. And what I'll probably do is put some cheese wedges on the edge of it so that it's a smoother transition onto there, or I might even use some curved slopes. I'll have a little bit of a play and see what looks best. Whatever I put on there, it will mean that there will be a break in the lines, but it might be worthwhile doing that just to have a better look on the roads. What I'm going to do now is just plate this section off just here, and once I've done that, I'll then do the little bit of road that will go there. But I've still got to work out what lines I want to put on the road. And there we have the Falcone shipping warehouse in its new location. I've pushed it back just a little bit and really like the amount of space I've got out the front now. On the back, there are just doors. for people to walk through, and there's more than enough room on the back there for that to happen. So that's the perfect place for that one to be. Other buildings such as this Falcone building, I think will be further forward, as vehicles can go out of the back of that one. Now with the lines here, I've put some light tan colour pieces in with the white just to give it that worn out effect. However, there's something about this I'm not liking the look of, and I think it's the light bluish grey colour on here. I feel like this entire area should be dark bluish grey, and you just have the lines there which are segregated in different sections, whether it's a walkway or where the vehicles are driving, if there's a part where you're not supposed to go. So I think I'm going to pull the plates and tiles up along here and do the snot technique over the entire area. The only place I won't do it is inside the warehouse. I'm going to leave that as it is, but I think that's going to look much better. The other thing I need to do as well is actually feed some wires up into the building, and one thing I'm going to use is the ones where you don't actually have to connect them using the plug. The wires sit on top of each other and that brings electricity through. So yeah, looking forward to experimenting with those. And I thought I'd just show you the lights and how we're going about doing everything on here so far. So here we have got one of these connection points, and this is so that you can have your buildings all lit up and you don't have to have the wires then built into the Mills plate connecting to the actual building, if that makes sense. What you do instead is you connect all your lights to this brick here, or this connection point here, should I say. And on the bottom of here, you've got the connectors, if it will focus. There we go. So what happens is this is obviously built into your building. That sits on that one just there, and now the lights are all connected and the power's running through them. So on the bottom of the building here, I'm going to be connecting the brick to that point just there. Now with this connection point here, this is running to this connector board. So that's what the first plug is. The second one is this here, which is a light. I'm going to be making a custom lamp post here to shine out over part of the docks. The third one is this connector cable here, which is going to go to a building which I'm going to be building at the back there, which is almost going to be like security for in and out of the docks, so people are checked there. The fourth one is another connector cable which is running across the road, or will be going under the road, and that will enable me to connect all the lights up over this side of the docks. And I need to get all of these laid now, just so I don't have to keep pulling things up, which is what I've been doing all along here. So I hadn't thought about the lights of it. Typical Dubbzi bricks, not planning in the future with the build, but we're learning slowly. But anyway, let's carry on putting the wires down, and once we've got them where we need them to be, we can then start putting the road sections back down. On this end, I want to obviously have another light, but rather than run connector cables all the way along here, I think it's going to be better if I connect them up to the lights which are going to be inside the Penguins warehouse. So yeah, let's get back to it. I'm much happier with the docks being more in the dark grey colour here, and just put some random lines here and there, what I think just, you know, looks good for the docks area. I pulled up a load of the tiles that were in light bluish grey to the entrance of the Penguins submarine hangar, and that's obviously where the missiles will get loaded into that part. And I've just started to do the wires on the left hand side of the docks, and I thought I would just show you what I'm doing here for those people that may not have used lights or are thinking about using lights and want to know about the best way of keeping them all in place. As you can see, I've used the 1x1 round plates here, and they're absolutely perfect for keeping things in place. And I've got some here, and as you can see, in between each stud, there's a very small gap. That's wide enough for you to put 1 or 2 wires through there, so it keeps it all nicely clipped down and you're not crushing it. If you use 2 plates, you have to either crush the wire or you're not actually getting the plates fully connected. So this is a much easier way of keeping everything nice and tidy. And here is our first lamp post, and I've put the light all the way through there. So we're going through the headlight brick, through the 2 cylinders there, which have got a Technic pin in there, then all the way down through this section, and then the wire comes out of the end. So you're really happy with the look of that. So I'm going to make another 3 of those. Originally, I was going to have it right along the waterfront here. However, due to the cranes being along here, they'll be knocking into them, so I'm actually putting them at the back, hence the holes where I've put those for the wires to come through. So yes, we're going to have one here, one down the other side of the Falcone shipping warehouse there, and then another one here. Now I've started to leave a channel through here, and I've pulled the plates up along here, and I'm going to have 3 or 4 lights which go out this way to light up the area in front of the Joker's Funhouse. but they will all be connected to the power supply, which will be over in the security guards area. And there we have the 3 lamps all in place, as well as the road markings all completed on the bottom there. And it's amazing how much difference just putting some yellow lines down on the road and the lamps make to the build. Still so much more details I need to add to this, but let's just switch the lights off, put the lamps on and see how it looks. And here we have 3 of the 4 lamp posts all in place, and I'm using the warm white lights and the lamps here, and I think they're giving off the perfect amount of light for the docks area. It feels very atmospheric to me. There are going to be more lights on the buildings as well to help light up the docks a little bit more, but it has, for me, got very much that Gotham vibe about it. And here we have the containers and the cranes back on the docks, and loving how this is coming along. The more details I add to it, the more I'm enjoying this particular part of Gotham City. Now what I'm going to be doing next is taking this Falcone shipping building over to the table. I need to put the connector board on the bottom of this section just here. Then I can run the wire up the wall, and then we can put some more lights along the very top of the building here just to light up this area. So let's take the building over to the table and put the lights on. Here we have one of the connector switches which are going on the bottom of the building. So at the moment we have one down the very bottom just here. We then got the wire going for a couple of the modified plates here just to keep it nice and tidy in the corner there, through a headlight brick, and then the wire will come along the top here. Now at the moment these wires, they're just all loose as you can see, and that's because obviously I haven't finished the building. But also I need to get some lights which have got smaller cables. At the moment these, I think, are 30 centimetre ones, whereas probably I need about 15 centimetres. So I will change them over, as well as the connection board there. That doesn't need to be anywhere near as big as that. So anyway, let's move this building over to the table and see how it looks when it's all lit up. And there we have the Falcone shipping light building all lit up, and I'm absolutely loving how these lights work. It's so simple. All I need to do is lift the building up and it's disconnected. So it does work really well, and you can just clip it back down. This light system is an absolute game changer for me, but it is just making life so much easier. I can build my building with the wires all nicely attached in there, and I don't have to worry about connecting things up afterwards. So yeah, I highly recommend checking these lights out. And yeah, they're so, I've said it so many times in the past, and I'm going to carry on saying it, they are just so easy to use. The way that they plug in is nice and easy, especially if you've got fat fingers like I have. But yeah, I'm also liking the warm lights as well, as opposed to the bright ones. I think they also add in just enough light to this mock. So I really think it's getting very atmospheric along here. And I think once I've added a couple more lights to the next building along, again, that's going to make such a difference. With the docks area, I want to carry on working over this in the coming weeks, to as much of this done as I possibly can with the parts that I have available. I have had a good sort through recently, so I know there is a lot that I can get done with this area, which would be really satisfying. It'd be nice to get the water all done. I do need to work out how big I'm going to be making the boat that's going to be going along here, just so I can save the tiles underneath there. It will be tile, but I just won't be putting as much detail as I have done down the far end there. But yeah, it's been such a satisfying week getting this area here done, and the lights, again, they have just blown me away. The simplicity of them, but how much of a difference they make to the mock. They really are great. So a massive thank you to Game of Bricks for sending those lights over to me, and I will, as usual, put an affiliate link into the description of this video, so make sure you check that out, as it does save you 25% off of your order. So yeah, just use the code on screen here now, and yeah, I'd highly recommend using them. The service is fantastic and the product is brilliant. Anyway, that's all we have time for. I hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please remember to give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And if you know anybody else you think could be interested in building Gotham City in Lego, if you could share the channel with them, it'd be much appreciated. Anyway, thanks for popping on by, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.